Something that I've avoided talking about on this channel until now is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Mainly, well, because I hate it. Don't get me wrong, it's not all bad, but the Cursed Child is not a continuation of Harry's story as the title would imply, but it's also not a new story of Harry's son, Albus, either. My problem with it is it's a retread of past events and past stories in the Harry Potter world, but just from a different perspective. For the sake of my own sanity, I tend to just forget it ever existed and I write it off as fanfiction. It's worth pointing out this is not a comment on the play, which I hear brings a different level of magic to the stage, but this is a comment about the story itself within The Cursed Child. So why do I consider it not canon in fanfiction? Mainly because it isn't J.K. Rowling's story, and it feels that way. When it comes down to it, it's Jack Thorne's. J.K. Rowling was cited as helping with the story, but it has been stated that she only helped with the details in the world and not the story itself. Still, we don't know her involvement. I just know it's not exclusively hers. But not only is it not J.K.'s story, but it feels like someone else is playing with her characters. Like I said, when you break down the story, it isn't all bad. I actually enjoy the setup to the story quite well. Rewalking into Hogwarts with fresh eyes, having Albus live in Harry Potter's shadow, and eventually being sorted into Slytherin. It's actually all very good. But the story falls off the rails when the Time Turner is introduced. And this is where, for me, it turns into fanfiction, and bad fanfiction at that. The jump to save Cedric Diggory and the repercussions that follow, it just doesn't make sense inside the Harry Potter universe. Although the idea to prove themselves and do something noble is in line with Scorpius and Albus's characters, why do they go backwards with the characters? Why do they have them jump into the past and make us relive those stories we've already seen? I don't know about you, but when I heard about The Cursed Child, I was looking for a fresh new story about Harry's son and him struggling to be in his father's shadow. I wanted to see his journey through Hogwarts and see him find his own way. I've already seen and read about the Triwizard Tournament. Not only does this storyline take away from the story inside the play, it dilutes the Goblet of Fire. Now, fanfictions usually derive from the reader or viewer going, what if blank? And that's exactly what happens here. What if Harry's son was sorted into Slytherin? What if there were still Time Turners around? And worst of all, what if Voldemort had a child? Now, I don't agree that Voldemort should ever have a child. I think it goes against his character, but it isn't necessarily a bad idea. But these what ifs should explore something new. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child asks what if, but it doesn't follow through. Now, what if Voldemort had a child? It's an interesting question for sure, but don't make that sole purpose of that child go back in time and resurrect Voldemort. How interesting would it have been if Voldemort's child was unlike Voldemort and broke that mold? Maybe the child wanted to live in peace and quiet, but they constantly are getting harassed by who their father was. Don't show us that all-encompassing evil again. If you're gonna do fanfiction, do something different. Do something we've never seen before. That would reinforce the point that the Cursed Child is trying to make through Albus as well. That we aren't our parents and we have room to grow. In turn, let the world grow. Let these characters grow. Don't revisit, create something new. This is the main problem with The Cursed Child. It's written from the perspective of not a creator of Harry Potter, but someone who loves Harry Potter. They looked at those possible stories and went back to something they knew and loved. They weren't interested in making something different. When it comes down to it, I really don't mind that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is glorified fanfiction. I can write it off at that. I mind that it's bad fanfiction, and it falls into all the bad tropes that fanfiction has.
This is my boy!
So what do you think about The Cursed Child? Do you dislike it like I do? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my patrons Adam Gray, Jeremy Jacobs, Jenny Edward, Jeremy Robson, Gabe Marchanda, Trevor Cowan, Gunnar Langland, and Sam Leon. Thank you so much for your support, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.